In every calendar cycle, the gods of chaos and balance fight to escape, threatening total destruction. In each era, a hero has risen.
Housemarque has been known to make a couple of really good and solid downloadable titles before, like Super Stardust HD and Detonation. And now they're back with a colorful. And I did the mistake of saying that it was a mix between Flashback and Ikaruga.
Yeah. The thing about it's so easy to relate it to Ikaruga because they use the same system. But if you want to go really geeky, Treasure, who did Ikaruga, actually took the system from Ikaruga from an older game of theirs called Silhouette Mirage, which was actually also a platform game just like Outland. So it's more of a reference, I would say.
I'm so tired all of a sudden. Yeah. Aside from that, interesting trivia.
Yeah.
What is Outland?
Outland is, game-wise, without going into the mechanics, probably best described as a mix of Prince of Persia, or Flashback for that, and
Ikaruga?
And Metroid.
Ooh.
So it's what some people would refer to as a Metroidvania game that you played like from a 2D perspective, and you go all sorts of places to gain skills, and you're able to go back and unlock secrets and new passageways and new levels and stuff like that. Okay. And it's really, really good.
So let's go into why I actually brought up Ikaruga in the first place. Was because you can shift polarity with the cursor?
Yeah, you can shift polarity. Everything in the game, or almost everything, when you are more than like half an hour into the game, is suddenly divided into red and blue colors. And you're able to absorb blue attacks when you're in the blue color, of course, and also able to activate doors of the same color and platforms. The thing you're not able to do is harm enemies of the same color as you, which means, of course, that when you're getting sprayed by like 100 blue bullets, you're suddenly forced to change your color so that you may hurt an enemy and change over again so you don't get hurt yourself. And it sounds really, really complex, but it really isn't. It's more of, in my review, I compared it to learning to play Portal, because it's kind of the same thing where Portal forces you to do stuff that you've done in several games before, but suddenly do them like just a little bit different. And it's the same thing with Outland.
Okay. When it comes to because if that's the case, and you have to shift colors that quickly, think that quickly, how are the controls? Which is always important as well.
Seriously, the controls are some of the best I've tried. It has to be said, I used the analog stick, which for this sort of game previously, before Super Meat Boy, was kind of a big no-no. But Super Meat Boy just mastered 2D platform controls on an analog stick, and Outland is pretty close to that. You always feel in control. You always feel like you have complete confidence in doing the jumps that the game requires you to do. And that's actually really cool, because the difficulty in the game, I wouldn't call it steep, but you get to a certain place in the game where you actually stop up and have to contemplate how you're going to, clear the next room, how you're going to get through it. And just you not having to think about the controls, it just lets you focus on the real good stuff of the game.
All right. So have they pulled it off again?
I would definitely say so. Housemarque is actually one of my favorite companies for downloadable titles, not least because they actually started their careers on the Amiga way back, and I loved the games even then. And they seem to be emerging as one of the really premier developers of this sort of game. Not the least because all their games just shine when it comes to quality. I mean, Outland, just like the previous games, looks absolutely spectacular. It looks so amazingly cool, and it's not only the tech, which is really good, it's also just the design choices they've made.
And also co-op, which of course is always popular amongst the kids these days.
Yeah, it has to be said. To me at least, it seemed more like something that had to be in the game than something that necessarily works in the game. You can play it in co-op and it works and everything, but the most fun you'll have in co-op is actually separate challenges where the rules are kind of mixed up, and you will find them a couple of times in the main single player.
Okay. Anything else?
No, it just has to be said that Outland is for all the people who like games like Metroid and Prince of Persia and likes a good challenge. It's the sort of game of that certain quality that we seldom see on both PSN and Xbox Live Arcade, I feel. And Housemarque really is emerging as one of the premier developers of this sort of game. And also, if you're into really, really cool bosses that really provide a challenge, Outland is definitely for you.
Outland.